Board Member Jensen,
Here.
Board Member Seifert,
Here.
Board Member Lee,
Here.
and Chair Clark.
Here.
Great.
Thank you. We do have a quorum today. Let's move to the second item on the agenda, and we've got the public comment. I don't think we've got anyone from the public here to make any comments on last month's meeting. So we'll both open and close that. The next item on the agenda, item number 3, is approval of the meeting minutes from the January meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as distributed unless there are any corrections.
I will so move. Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's take the roll on that.
Board Member Lee,
Yes.
Seifert,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Wangler,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes. Okay, let's jump into item number 4, which is our variance request. Have Jenny present that for us?
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Clark and board members. Henry and Lisa Gerving are requesting.
Is the mic on?
How about now? All right.
Perfect.
I can tell now. Thank you. Chairman Clark, board members, Henry and Lisa Gerving are requesting approval of a variance from Section 14031B4 of the City Code of Ordinances, incidental uses, accessory uses, and buildings to increase the area of accessory buildings from 1,200 square feet to 1,320 square feet. A 1,200 square foot accessory building was constructed on this property in 2024, and if approved, the applicants intend to construct a 120 square foot shed on the property as well. The public has been notified of this request. 43 letters were mailed to the owners of nearby properties on January 26th. Additionally, a sign providing information on the public hearing was placed in a publicly accessible spot at the project location or on the boulevard in front of the property on January 26th as well. We have received one written comment that was sent to you prior to this evening's meeting. Staff also received one phone call inquiry from an adjacent property owner. Pursuant to Section 140602 of the City Code of Ordinances, the Board of Adjustment may vary or adjust strict application of any requirements of the zoning ordinance in case of an exceptionally irregular, narrow, shallow, or steep lot, or other exceptional physical or topographical conditions, by reason of which the strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship that would deprive the owner of reasonable use of land or building involved, but in no other case. No adjustment in the strict application of any provisions of the zoning ordinance shall be granted by the Board of Adjustment unless it finds the following: that there are special circumstances or conditions that apply to the land or buildings that do not generally apply to land or buildings within this neighborhood and have not resulted from any act of the applicant. That the strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinance would deprive the applicant of reasonable use of said land or building. The granting of the variance is necessary for the reasonable use of land or building, and that the variances granted by the board is the minimum variance that will accomplish relief sought by the applicant. Finally, that the granting of the variance would be in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the zoning ordinance and would not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. The applicant has submitted a written statement that identifies their anticipated hardship and explains why they believe the variance should be granted. This document was included in your packet. If you choose to approve the variance as proposed, staff asks that you identify a hardship and modify the review standards or findings outlined in your staff report to support your decision. Do you have questions?
Questions for staff?
I do. I'm just going to put them together. Has there been correspondence with the applicant regarding this matter, and how many times and what kind of content in the dialogue back and forth, if there
Sure.
was?
Board Member Jansen, the applicant is online here today. They've received notification letters and applicant letters, which we call them, telling them of this particular request. Our inspections department also worked with them during the construction of the home as well as the accessory building.
Now, the applicant has stated also that he did not need a permit for this because of the size of the building, is that correct?
Yes, it's a great question. Board Member Seifert, board members, the Building Inspections Department does not require a building permit for buildings that are 120 square feet or less. However, those buildings need to still comply with the zoning ordinance.
And this is because the lot size, he's filled up his lot? size.
Another really good question. No, the limit for accessory buildings in this particular zoning district, our city R5 zoning district, is limited to 1,200 square feet regardless of how big your lot is.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
This is not in the ETA, right?
That is correct,
Okay.
Board Member Wangler.
And I know the city is redoing some of their ETA numbers to more align with the county. Are they talking about doing any type of realignments within the city of Bismarck at this time?
No, not at this time. With our current LDC, I believe the maximum requirement or the maximum allotted accessory building for properties that are inside city limit residential properties is still going to remain at 1,200 square feet.
Regardless of the size of the lot?
That is correct.
This is actually a double lot.
It is. It's two lots that were combined to create one parcel, so we treat the parcel as one.
Do you know, are they doing a concrete floor in this, or is that their plan? I mean, it seems to me like to protect a well, 10 by 12 is a pretty good sized building. I think it becomes more than just a well protection building.
Maybe I should,
Board
We do
member,
have the petitioner
thank you.
on the line, so we will
Okay.
have an opportunity to
Okay. Yeah,
ask those questions. Just as a note, I did not receive a copy, I did not see the copy of the public comment. Do we have a copy of that anywhere that I can look at?
I will be able to get it to you. I'm sorry, it was emailed this morning, I believe.
There you go.
Okay,
Okay.
Just scroll down.
thank you. Okay, any additional questions for staff?
I'm not sure if this is for staff or the applicant, but this property, was that always city water, or was that annexed in?
Sure, this property is in a subdivision called Clear Sky Edition. It's inside city limits. It's provided
Okay,
water and sewer from the city of Bismarck.
Okay.
Yep.
Any additional questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's open this up for comments by the petitioner by, do we have Henry or Lisa Jervig on the line?
Henry Gerving is here, ma'am.
Irving? Thank you. Will you introduce yourself, please? And we'd love to hear your comments on this.
Hi, my name is Henry Gerving. I live at 602 Mirror Drive. I love the neighborhood. Love everything about the place. My comments are, I bought my house as a prefabbed or a spec home. Found the lot next to me vacant and contacted the owner. He happened to be the same individual that built my house. And so he said he would sell me the lot as long as what my intentions were. I told him that I wanted to build a shop. He said, okay. We designed a 40 by 50 shop because the next paragraph down below, the paragraph that Jenny referenced, uses a formula that actually called for the percentage of the property that allows different size buildings. Initially, the staff in Bismarck applied that, so that was kind of confusing. And now I didn't work with the city of Bismarck. My contractor, Tim Roosh, worked with the city. So we designed the building, and unfortunately, or fortunately for me, there was a timing gap because we designed the building. I contacted the well drillers. The well drillers had the ability to come out and drill a well. Initially, that structure or the well was supposed to be inside the shop. Um, After I had the well dug, Mr. Roosh contacted the city, submitted the building permit, and that's when we found that there was a 1,200 square foot limit. At the time, I was literally told that there was no way that I could get a variance or I could create a larger building. So we complied with that and we built it. The well is on a 5x5 concrete pad. And you are correct. 10 by 12 is a little bit larger than I need to protect the well. But I decided since I was going to need a variance for any structure that I built, I would build it as big as I could. And so once we decided that we were going to build the shop and we bought the lots, that's when we had to combine the parcels. And so that, again, Mr. Rooch took care of all that. I was not involved, even though there's several times that I talked to Mark or Mr. Kearns about this to try and figure out what was going on because Mr. Roosh had kind of run into some snags and found out some of the ordinances as well. So I'm kind of a third party on the ordinances and how they work. It is my fault that I didn't contact the city and find this out myself, and take care of this up front. The structure that I plan on building will look exactly like the rest of the structures. It will actually enhance the neighborhood and not. I have no desire to put up a tin shed or anything like that. So subject to your questions, that's all I have, board members,
I have a
chairman,
question.
chairwoman, sorry.
Thank you. I have a question for you. One of the requirements when we evaluate these variance requests is that what's being requested is the minimum required to accomplish what you're trying to do. So when you say that your building that you're asking for is bigger than you need, would you be able to build this smaller building and still accomplish what you're trying to do?
The answer is yes, but as I put in a request for a variance, one thing that I found out, and again, this is a learning process, when they dug the well at 65 feet, they hit water, but it was rusty. The well driller said that I would get really good water at 125 feet. Well, we do have really good water because we went to 125 feet. However, that has a high mineral content. And so now I need to put in a water purification system. It's about 5 feet by 3 feet by 18 inches deep. And so to access that and change the filters, it would be better that the building was larger than just the 5x5. The 5x5, just to protect the well, would not allow me to access the water purification system. And I could house it entirely in a 10 by 12 building
Okay, thank you.
and access it easily. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Do we have additional questions for the petitioner?
Now, just get this straight. Now, this well is only for watering your lawn, correct?
That is correct, sir, or board member.
Just a side note to your well thing, I guess, I'm not sure why the well has to be covered with a building. I've had several places with wells, and to maintain maintenance on them, you have to be able to pull everything out straight to replace the glands and all kinds of things. So I'm a little puzzled at that aspect, but I'm not sure if it's just your softener thing that you're concerned about.
So it is the softener thing, but right now I also, because I drain the well or I blow out the entire system in the fall, I disconnect the pressure tank. and the softener system hasn't been installed because I literally have no place to mount it. So the reason that I'm saying that I want to enclose the well is so that I don't have to disconnect the pressure tank just to move it inside of another structure. And then it would also house the uh, purification system.
Thank you. Additional questions?
I have a question for staff. Do you know how many private wells we have within the city limits? Are there a lot, or are there not very many?
I guess we don't permit wells, so, I mean, I wouldn't even want to guess as to how many we have. I'm sure there are some out there, but yeah.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for the petitioner? Hearing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Gerving. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Chairwoman.
Okay. I think what we'll do now is we will open the hearing for public comment. And I don't think we've got anyone here in the public. We don't have anyone online, do we? Okay, seeing no one here, we will close the comment period on this, and we will have the board consider the variance request before it. As I say every meeting, if there is a motion that we entertain to grant the variance, I would request that you clarify the elements and the hardships.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Okay, we've got a motion to deny. Do we have a second on that motion?
I will second that motion.
Okay, we've got an opportunity for discussion on that.
I guess I tend to agree, because I know maybe I missed something, but when he built that shop, why wasn't the pressure tank and all that put in there? Into that building he just built. And I guess for watering a lawn, I guess maybe I'm wrong, don't know enough about minerals in the water and that, but if that would hurt the lawn or what, but
I think one of the things that we are held to as a board is evaluating whether the circumstances that come before us are of the making of the petitioner, or whether they're subjected to something that was created by somebody else. And I think that goes to that point.
I don't really see a hardship, you know.
My question on that would be is that he said they originally planned a 30 by, or a, 40 by 50 foot building, and was going to put everything inside that.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that was the city that told Roosh, and I know the builder, and I know most of his work was done in Lincoln. I don't think he did a lot in Bismarck. There was some different codes between Lincoln and Bismarck for a period of time, even though I think for a while, the county was inspecting Lincoln, then it became the city inspecting Lincoln, and I know there was even some engineers that had things. We had a lot staked by the engineers, by a surveyor one time, and it got rejected because the city of Bismarck required 6 feet and Lincoln required 7.5 feet to a side yard. Engineer had no clue. He didn't know that there was that difference, so he had spec'd it with 6 feet, so it had to be redone. But was Roosh at one time told that he could have a 2,000 square foot building? I don't know, because it kind of sounded like after they had this thing planned, they had to make a change in the size of the building he wanted. Mr. Gerving made the statement that we had to go from what would have been a 2,000, a 40 by 50 foot building, to a 1,200 square foot building. And I'm wondering, was that information he got from the city? Was it information that the contractor who was doing this work for him had planned? I guess it's a little confusing to me why that well would be way back in the northwest corner of the lot, unless the building was going to be placed in that location, closer to that location. And maybe these are questions I should have asked. I don't know if Mr. Gerving's still on. I don't know if we could even ask him those questions anymore, but.
I think for purposes of this request, we've closed the hearing on that.
Okay.
Could we open that again if we wanted to? For additional information from the petitioner? We do have a motion on the table, so I mean, I think it's probably inappropriate to
Well,
take that step.
And I think also important part of this is he's on city water. This is for the irrigation and so forth, which is another side note to it. But again, we have the rules in place to do this. Your point with the softener and the pressure tank being in that building, it's just a couple lines run that takes care of that issue and so forth, even with the distance there, which isn't that great. So, we didn't create this. We have the regulations in place and so forth. I understand, there could be some discrepancy sometime, and we've seen that before. But case in point, this lot is, it's nice. The hardship, I understand it, but it doesn't meet the criteria that we have in front of us. So.
And one of the issues I think I raised through questioning is what's being requested, the minimum that's required to meet their needs. And there was a response to that. I'm not sure that requires as large of a building as they're asking for. Although that does not address the creation of the hardship and any additional discussion? Hearing none, let's take the roll. And just for clarification, we just need a straight majority on this because it's a motion to deny a variance. I know we've had some hiccups along the way.
Ready? Board Member Wangler,
No.
Jansen,
Yes.
Seifert,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes. Okay, so that motion was successful. The variance has been denied. Our action is appealable, but our action is final as far as our actions go today. I think what we'll do next is move on to item number 5 on our agenda. which is the review of our bylaws. They were before the board at our previous meeting last month. And you'll notice that there are two, I'm probably taking Jenny's thunder here. There are two highlighted provisions in the bylaws where you can note the changes, and I'll turn that over to you.
Absolutely, Chair Clark, you can totally take my thunder here, but I'll go over it for the folks at home. Page 1, Article 3, Section A, membership, we've changed that to match current state requirements, so from 6 members down to 5. Then on page 3, top of the page, under Article 6, appeals to the board. We decided last month, and it was a really good idea, to add a statement regarding simple majority. As you mentioned earlier, if you are wanting to deny a variance, you don't need the 4 concurring votes like you do to approve a variance. So it's just a simple majority, or 3 out of 5 of you, so. Other than that, those are all the changes we're proposing at this time. If you do wish to approve the bylaws, I will have a copy ready for you, Chair, at our next meeting to sign.
Okay, any questions for staff on the bylaws?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Wonderful, we've got a motion
Second?
and a second. Is there any discussion regarding the bylaws? I think these are great improvements, especially that one clarifying the votes needed to uphold
Yes, thank you.
a decision of the city. If there's no further discussion, let's take roll on that.
Board Member Lee,
Yes.
Seifert,
Yes.
Wangler,
Yes.
Jansen,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes. Okay, thank you for addressing that. That motion carries. And the final item we have is adjournment of the meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for March 5th at 5 o'clock in the Tom Baker meeting room. Nothing further, I'll adjourn the meeting.